Oh, hi everyone. Hi bakers. Hi Lardites. Hi everyone. I am standing down because the real show right now is on Exposed, the channel Exposed. It has been taken over by the number one adversary of LBL, Jools, because we all never understood why LBL was obsessed with Jules. When she gets all mad and she's muttering and stumbling and toddling around, going, Jules, oh, Jules caused global warming. Jules ruined my life. Oh, Jules, get out of bed. Jules. She mumbles about Jules, and everybody's like, why? Well, now we see why, because Jules has been the thorn in that big backside because, as it turns out, Jules honestly has the wit and, I mean, talent to record and comment, and her accent is one of the most coveted in the world. Like, I cannot wait until Jules is discovered by great narrators of the world and they hire her to narrate books, because her accent is just beautiful and the way that she articulates is just second to none. So listening to her review LBL's videos is priceless. And, we're bantering back and forth in the comments, after. Well, and so you see, Jules has the smarts. And like I say, smarts, talent, and, articulation skills that are nowhere to be found, here in the States at least. We had to go across the pond to find someone to deal with this Shamu in captivity. Um, but she's just got this going, so the thing is that Jules was smart enough to be recording, and Jules has taken her videos and kept them on BitChute. And so what that also does is, if you can watch LBL's videos through BitChute, then LBL doesn't get the views, which is what she wants, because the more views, the more income she gets from YouTube, whether it's bad or good. And I tried using BitChute, but it doesn't always work for me. So I do my best to try to avoid giving her the view. And so it's always best to try and find it through Exposed or through BitChute. But LBL also dirty deletes as she wakes up from her Ambien comas and sees what she's done. And Jules has kept these priceless treasures in a vault, apparently, and has waited until now to just release them in mass and drop a massive can of whoop ass on LBL. And so it's going to be interesting because LBL is already behind in her videos. Ever since she started getting live critique from my channel and others, she stopped doing the GoFundMe scams, and she stopped doing the hours long vlogs and the getting drunk on camera and all that. So we know that, we've thrown a few stingers her way. Well, by this time historically, she starts begging, because April is basically her holy month. We all know her birthday, 4/28/63. It's her email, okay? If you need to find her, it's 4/28/63. I mean, I don't know who else puts out their vitals like that, but anyway. She starts complaining about how her mommy didn't do this for her and didn't do that for her, well in this season and around this month. So the fact that she hasn't started posting those videos and stuff means that she's just going around now, just probably muttering, Jules, get out of bed, Jules. Well, you know what? Jules can kick your ass from across the pond in her bed. So then what? Then what? If Jules got out of bed, she'd come and she'd knock you over like the weeble wobble you are. And you couldn't get back up. Or could you? Could you? I don't know. Maybe it'll be like the incident at the post office where you're flailing on the freaking ground because you went and stepped on some old man's hand truck when you were supposed to be 6 foot in between other people and social distancing. So, anyway, I am laughing along with you guys at the critique. And like I say, if you have not seen these, you have to go over and check out exposed comments on my channel. And they have Jules as they're letting Jules do some of the work from their channel, from what I understand. So if you can't find, if you've not seen these treasures, Exposed will comment on in my thread, so you could click on Exposed and then you could find the channel from there. So then look for the ones that are Jules reviewing these things. Well, I did not ever see this one where this YouTuber named Matthias had met with her. And Jules had this gem. And so basically, this is when LBL was in her classic, looking like a very large and in charge lesbian, sat down with Matthias, who is a, how do you say it, male to female lady. And I guess Matthias had a channel called Matthias in the Morning. And so in classic LBL form, LBL starts stalking her and then says, let's meet together and do a collab. And then she's getting all ready to meet Matthias, but then she has to sit there and obsess about herself and how she doesn't normally laugh at things, you know, things that other people find funny. She doesn't laugh. Like, oh, it's a very, 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 very rare thing to get her to laugh. Like, who obsesses about whether or not they laugh? Like, just a callous weirdo. So anyway, she's like, oh, I don't know if Matthias will allow the vlogging or not. So then, of course, here you are, and the vlogging is in the face of Matthias, and they're trying to share a meal. And LBL is drunk, like so drunk in the day. And Matthias, being the responsible YouTuber, says, I want everybody to know that I'm going to make sure that Lori gets home safely, that we have a safety plan in place, that she is not going to drive drunk from here, and that she's going to come over to my house, you know, and all this. And all the while, LBL is like, no, I'm fine. Everybody says how I have to drive with two hands on the wheel. Who drives with two hands on the wheel? My mom and I laugh about people who drive with both hands on the wheel. Who drives with both hands on the wheel? I drive with my thumb. And just crazy stuff, right? So Matthias is doing the best that she can, trying to just, you know, eat her own meal with manners. And all of a sudden, LBL's man hands, those big crab cracking machines, come over and start manhandling Matthias's food. And from there, it's just very uncomfortable. And all of a sudden, they're not talking anywhere, and LBL is in a big lesbian bar. And she is well, she's in there being the biggest, I would assume, everybody would assume she's the biggest lesbian there, talking to all these women about where all the other good lesbian clubs are. So she's got all these other lesbians around her talking, and she's recording them. Now, she looks like a lesbian, acts like a lesbian, goes to lesbian bars, commands all the attention in a lesbian bar, cannot get along with any male whatsoever, you know, just cuts them down, just loves hating on men, like Eileen Wuornos kind of style, hating a man. And so I think that what we are dealing with here is she's a closet lesbian. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, maybe she would be happy if she just came out of the closet. I mean, she is very much in her element around the other lesbians, as you can see. But it doesn't make sense how this transgressed from lunch with Matthias to all of a sudden she's being obnoxious in a lesbian bar. So then she's driving home, clearly drunk. Can't even get, her big cutting cow mouth around the straw of a milkshake that she then keeps talking about how delicious it is. While driving, just drunk, right? She's drunk. And she says, and I asked Matthias if we're ever going to meet again. And she said, no. So I wonder what happened. I wonder what cut the film. I wonder if Matthias threw a drink in her face and was like, you nasty octopus of a woman. I don't want you to touch my food. You're spitting on it. You're being obnoxious. You're a big, fat, obnoxious drunk, and I don't want anything to do with you. You can go to hell. I don't know. Because from what happened here, from what all accounts, is Matthias went missing. The channel was taken down, and Matthias is gone. Well, I don't know what happened, but I think we need to do a search for Matthias and find out what really went down. I mean, did Matthias grab her crab-cracking hands off of her food and tell her no? Or was Matthias just so disgusted with her behavior that Matthias pulled a, I'm going to go to the bathroom and never came back? I mean, anybody who sat down with LBL to eat, with the exception of her mother, who was paying for her to go out several times a freaking day because LBL does not know how to cook. Anybody who has sat down with her for a meal has never done that again. Like, it is a once and done. And you guys, you're like, I mean, I'm sure you guys have all had friends like that, they seem okay and everything, and then you go out with them, and then you're like, never again. Never a frickin' again. Okay? Never again. I had a weirdo, and she worked at a place where I shopped, and I thought she sounded like, the most fun woman, and so I went, well, this is a story in and of itself. I'll have to tell you this one story later. It's a big story. But anyway, I took her on this adventure, the adventure of a lifetime, okay? I thought she'd be a good person for this adventure that I was on. And so I pick her up, and all of a sudden, she tells me about how she hates having sex with her husband, and that because he doesn't wash and he has a smeg on his foreskin and all this stuff, and so every time that they have sex, it gives her a big nasty vaginal infection, and so she doesn't like having sex with her husband. And I'm like, okay. Well, I didn't realize that was a preface for the fact that she was going to be picking, because I had a convertible, and so she was going to be picking up on everything with a penis as we drove down the road. And she was doing like these weird like hoot signals like at motorcyclists men, and like holding out her cell phone and asking for their numbers, and just like honestly like sexually harassing males as we drove. Well, she's yelling at me how to freaking drive, and then she's like all spastic and everything about her phone needing to be charged, because of course she's trying to get all the numbers of all of the men, right? And meanwhile, I'm on this mission, right? Well, so I'm doing this mission and I'm figuring everything out, but basically I need my phone because for my spy mission that I was doing, I needed it. Well, she needed the charger, so she starts going through my entire glove box, my entire like center divider and everything, trying to find where she said she put her charger. Well, ma'am, you didn't put your freaking charger in my glove box or my center divider, you freak. So leave my shit alone. You know what I mean? But she's sitting there going through everything. And so then by the time we were done with this adventure, it was time to get back in my vehicle. And I was trying to like walk and not get her with me. And she's like, oh, are we going? I'm like, I'm going. And she's like, what do you mean you're going? We're going. I'm like, find your own ride. And she's like, what? And I'm like, yeah. I was like, you're going to shut your mouth. You're not going to be yelling out at any men. It's weird. And you're not going to be touching my stuff in my vehicle, you freak. Like, don't tell me how to drive. I know how to drive. I do manage to get people to places. I do manage to get myself places every day. I don't need to be told how to frickin' drive. So don't tell me how to frickin' drive. And I will give you a ride back to where I picked you up, but this is it. I mean, that's how it would be with LBL. I can totally imagine. I mean, this woman was so obnoxious, and it made me sad because her husband funded her lifestyle, and I found out that it's like she's having like two or three affairs a week with just anybody who would come into that store. The coworkers started telling me about stretch crotch Sandy, and so yeah, she wore these pants that went so high up her freaking crotch, like bad, like advertising the bear claw camel toe. And so I guess that's a thing that the men would come in, and that's how she would pick him up, because she had a big camel toe, stretch crotch. So she's known as Stretch Crotch Sandy in my circle. But anyway, I digress. I think that, stretch crotch is like a LBL. And so then Jules pulled out this other treasure of LBL whispering to the chicken purse lady that she sold Burke's Adderall to her neighbor. And she's sitting there laughing about it. So, as I've always said, she would bully Burke into situations where Burke was cornered. And as a 14-year-old boy, finally trying to come out of the abuse and being cornered like any living thing, he tried to fight his way out. Well, when he tried to fight his way out from her insane mental torture traps, she filmed it. And then she would take that film and show it to everybody and go and find any doctor that then would say that, oh yeah, well, he's a behavior case, because then she took that paperwork to the state and then got money saying that he's a behavior case, that she needs money for him to take him to therapy and all of that. So then she got disability for him as well as for her, and then she got medication for him, which then she sold. Okay, so that's also there. So Jules, yeah, Jules doesn't need to get out of bed. She can kick your ass from there, ma'am. So anyway, Jules, just stay in bed and keep doing what you're doing, okay, ma'am? Like I say, staying in bed is a I can't speak. You know what I'm talking about. Term for, you know what? There's a lot of us. I guess that you could say that I stay in bed. Yes, there's a lot of us who actually do. We're ladies of a certain age. We're kept women. We don't have to get out of frickin' bed if we don't want to, because we have husbands that love us and take care of us. And that is something that she covets. And it's so funny that she says things like get out of bed and stuff, because then she'll go on about, oh, how her father had MS and was in bed for years. So you know that she resents that she didn't have a father that went and gave her everything, because he divorced her mother. How many times do we have to hear about her parents getting divorced? Like, look, my mom was divorced twice. Have you ever heard me really say that? I don't say it 5 times a day like she does about her parents getting divorced. Like, my God. Hold on, I'm recording. What?
In a vacuum soon.
Okay.
What time?
I don't know. Just not my room.
It's not your room?
Yeah.
No.
Anytime, not my room. All right.
Sorry.
No problem. Sorry, one of the people who I do the laundry for needed to ask me a question, huh? So anyway, yes, as you see, I have them trained. He asked when should start vacuuming the house. You see, that's what happens. When you have kids that have responsibilities, you teach them responsibilities. And I also cook for my kids. But anyway, that's something that LBL has never done. And so, anywho, sorry for that little drop in my brain width where I was at. So anyway, we have a lifestyle, I suppose, that she resents, because she can't force anybody to let her stay in bed and bring her everything anymore, because she's ran off everybody. Because honestly, like, Jules and I, we could each say that we stay in bed because of our chronic pain syndrome. But the truth of it is that we do things. We still raise our children. We still, keep an active marriage. We can still be very functional Well, our bodies have failed us. I do work when I can, when I'm well enough. I can't keep a job for long because of my issues. But anyway, I try to get out of bed, but it doesn't always work. Anyway, on that note, she did that. So she was selling his Adderall. Now, there's also this other one where she's bragging about her Scentsy and her Scentsy charms and how in the first week she got this charm because in her first week she sold $2,000 of Scentsy. Now kiss my ass, because there is no way that you can sell. There's no way that you sign up for an MLM and you sell 2,000 in that week. You know how that works? That means that she probably went to mommy and made mommy give her an advance for product to sell and get rich quick. That's what happened. That's how the $2,000 was. There is no way that LBL was this genius of a saleswoman and sold $2,000 of an MLM product the first week that she touched it. There's no way. Okay? So this is how she then had all of these warmers and all of this wax for the last, how many years, that then she was trying to go to every single YouTuber that anybody else was watching and then try and force that YouTuber into being an ambassador for her to sell her Scentsy for her. Okay. Now, in some of those crying, blubbering GoFundMe freaking things, the other thing that she would say is, "You want to cheer me up? Go buy some Scentsy from me." Well, that's because she had selling minimums and she couldn't go and actually earn a sale. She couldn't go to like a vendor event and go there and be there at the butt crack of dawn and stand there and give good customer service and set up everything and take down everything and deal with people and, and have days where you do that and you bust your ass and you don't make a dime. Yeah, she's not going to do that. She didn't do that. She never went to any vendor events. She went to all these conferences and everything so that she could go with her idol and muse at the time, Shawnee. But she never went and put any of the legwork in getting any of the sales or earning these charms. No, she went and bought it all and then gave it all with a price. So this is where I did not know this backstory of why she hates Little Poet. She's always going about Little Poet, Jools, blah, blah, blah. She goes, "I hate him. I'm going to go, you want to know who I hate? Hated him. There's the whole hate video that Jools has also beautifully remastered of all the people that she hates. Hated it. Just so freaking childish. Her hates. Who cares about who she freaking hates? Freaking Ursula. But anyway, she hates this person called Little Poet. From what I understand, Little Poet was doing like some ASMR reading poetry. Now, all of a sudden, LBL sent her some Scentsy stuff. Now, when she would send this Scentsy, this was not a gift. This was a kiss of death, that you are supposed to then get this Scentsy, say how wonderful it is, and that you praise the ground that LBL tramples on, and that everybody on your channel needs to go and buy this product from Shamu, because if you don't buy this product from Shamu, then Shamu will hate you. Other people who do promotional things would be like, "Hey, I've got this, you've got this. Do you mind if I send you some good freebies and you give me a kind mention?" And if they do, great. If they don't, so what? That's normal showmanship. Well, as we all know, everything is a manipulation. So I guess from the way the legend has it, Little Poet got this package, didn't, treat it like it was this thing with all of these ties, hadn't opened it or whatever. Somehow, it wasn't even like there was an aggressive notion to it at all, but somehow she didn't acknowledge the gift, didn't promote it, whatever. So then all of a sudden, LBL started just going off about Little Poet and all this stuff. And I had no idea who Little Poet was other than it's somebody that she sits there and rants about. So that was it. I mean, and what a way to represent the product. What a way to be this wonderful salesperson, right? Just like she was a teacher. Jules remastered this because I had a question. Because she's inventing herself that she used to be a teacher. And when she was a teacher, she used this tool and everything. I'm like, what the fuck are you a teacher? Right? So I had Jules go into the vault and look at this one because I knew that there was this film where she said that she went to all these different colleges. She didn't graduate from any of them. I'm sure it's the same old thing. She goes to one of them for a week or whatever, drops out, but then she can list off 3 different colleges she went to. So then others think, oh, she's wonderfully educated, which she's not. So she's went to Leslie College and then went to a very intensive night program somewhere else, which was a week long and whatever. And then she studied psychology. So she's a psychology at a community college. Okay, ma'am, that's not studying psychology when you're still in your freaking community college years, because your undergraduate, you have to have electives. So if you took a couple of psychology classes for your undergraduate and associates, those are psychology electives. They're not what an actual person with a psychology degree, such as myself, takes, that, are in your 500 level classes. They're not. But she wants to act like if she takes a class, even if she's in it for a week, then she's an expert. So, it really made me wonder if she got a dabble in psychology, and that's where she started learning some of the buzzwords to say to therapists and whatnot to get the paperwork going so that she got full SSI disability for her mental issues. There's always something that comes from it. And from Little Poet was doing these ASMR things. So then, of course, if she sees that somebody else has something that's getting views, then, oh, well, she can do that and do that better because she's an expert, because she saw that somebody else did it. So that's where she picked up the ASMR crap. And then she was thinking that she could get money by making ASMR off of the noises that she makes with her mouth. So then she started hashtagging. Do you guys remember this? When she needed money for Bella, rest in peace, Bella's teeth, because she let them all rot out. She needed money for Bella's teeth, so she was going to go and get some potato chips and go and make a special video with big lip smacking mouth noises, eating chips loudly, lip smacking. And that was her version of ASMR. Now, when that didn't take off within the first 12 hours and make her a millionaire, she started acting like she could do it with her tapping. Tapping her nails. Tapping. Isn't that wonderful? She could tap. She could tap with her fingernails. And that is what she thought ASMR was. So we're making sense out of so much just by Jules, opening the vault and opening a can of whoop-ass from across the pond. Thank you, Jules, for taking this one on that apparently us Americans just have let slide, because, as you say, if she was in the UK, she would have lost her driver's license. I have no idea how she can film herself talking about committing felonies, selling her son's Adderall, and actively drive drunk on so many videos and never get her license revoked. I have no idea, because she's openly and grotesquely doing what she does, and there's no consequence. We all know that she's an accident waiting to happen. We all fear the day that she actually hurts somebody from her terrible driving. It's coming. I mean, she's a tragedy on wheels. We see how horrible she drives and everything else. But so basically, like I said, I'm standing down, but here's my review of a review of Exposed, and I just love getting all of the backstory and some of the things that I had missed over the years. I knew a lot, and just putting some of the other pieces together that I had not seen from deleted videos and stuff is quite entertaining from me in bed. Just like her dad was, who had MS, so she wouldn't go visit. She wants to claim the tragedy of him having MS, but she wouldn't go and visit because she would not want to take the risk of having to care for him in any sort of way. And she'll talk about her relationship with her dad. Have you guys heard of this? Where she says that she really didn't develop the great relationship with her father until he died. And once he died, she has the perfect relationship with him because it could be everything that she wanted it to be. That's sick. That's sick. That's why she only gets along with the animals because the animals can't talk back. So now that, her dad can't talk back to her and tell her how warped she is when she, starts any of her insane manifestations of her mind, I, I don't know. This woman is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. But anyway, enjoy the exposing LBL for what she is, and write to exposed in the comments and ask if you remember a video or you remember some information that you want her to review and show. Now's the time to do it because she's opened that vault, like I say, and it is open and happening. And all I can say about it basically is happy birthday, Lardo, because this is your month. We're going to make the month and just show you for what you are because it is just time that you are exposed. And on that note, I hope you all have a great week. Spring is springing. As you can tell, I have the allergies to match it. So hopefully you guys are all getting out there and enjoying some fresh air and getting ready for Easter. And I hope you all have the rest of a great Sunday. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.